Yeah. You turn the treble down a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah. Pro 2.0, and essentially the Voting Rights Act protected people from getting disenfranchised in ways that didn't allow essentially people in power like the governor, the current governor, and people who are also finessers to manipulate parts of the law and the code. And so because of that, more than 1,600 precincts have closed across the country that were once covered by the Voting Rights Act. So imagine that. Imagine how many more people could have the option to vote and that are now disenfranchised just because of that Voting Rights Act, which the reason why they appealed it or that it went through is because people were at the time, during the Barack Obama era thinking that shit was sweet. And obviously it ain't, you know what I'm saying? And so now we can look back in retrospect and see that there are some other power plays being made, right? And that the people we're bringing in need to understand this, right? And understand the history, understand the law, so that we can revise things to protect all people. And this is happening not just across the board, it's just black people, black and brown people, Native American people are being disenfranchised, and they're manipulating and using the now defunct Voting Rights Act not being there as a space to create this kind of deception. Right. So that's why, again, we got to go out and we got to make our voices heard. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to
on every level,
end on that. And I got this little clip I want to play, and that's going to bring us into our next segment with the good brother Walter of Branch Politics. Again, this is an organic brand collaboration with a fantastic up-and-coming startup that's specifically involved in empowering people through technology to get out and vote and to get involved in voting on a local and national level as well. But let's check out this clip real quick.
Our power is in our vote. Our power is in our voice. And if we willingly choose to remain silent, we give up that power.
Plan out what you're going to do to make sure your ballot is cast and counted. And then ask your friends and family whether they have a plan.
Even if you've done everything right, do not assume you're registered.
Check to make sure that you haven't been purged or that your polling place has moved. Vote as early as possible. Take your friends with you to the polls.
Talk to your neighbors about voting.
Call your parents and ask them if they voted. Call your grandparents.
To make sure that people know what precinct they're in, where their polling location is.
And then you turn up at the polls. And you don't leave until you cast your ballot.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was just powerful. Just thought that was a little powerful segment.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Is this some music?
There you go. Little tunes for the music.
Okay, that's cool. I was like, wait, is that music coming on?
Oh, okay.
So that brings us to our next segment, which is chopping it up with Walter. And I want to just give an anecdote about how I came to understand about branch politics and interact with what they got going on. And I got to say, it was really my first time feeling like I was voting and that I was voting for real. Right. And I can admit that I'm like 36, you know what I mean? I'm 36 and I've never felt like I voted for real. Like I voted locally over for the last 10 years or so. And it's always like the main person, the mayor or the governor or whatever.
You just look over the other
ones. You just look over the other people. And it's like
people.
the test. It's like the craziest fucking test ever.
It's a Christmas tree kind of situation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I have before.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I know that I'm not alone. And so this time I felt, I don't know, it's like I felt like charged up.
Empowered.
And the reason is because Branch, and I'll give my anecdote, and I'm sure Walter will tell the story on how Branch came to be and also, the technology behind it. But it's cool because you just put I put my zip code in, and I think Tristan had sent me the link to the app. I was like, all right, man, like I really want to fill out this sample ballot, because anybody can pull up a sample ballot. You can go to Ballotpedia and a lot of other places to pull up sample ballots. If you're in Atlanta and Georgia, of course, you can go to Branch Politics. And with Branch Politics, what's unique is it'll bring up the people in your district, the people in your state and in your area, and then it brings up these audio segments that are specific to their area of focus and their stance and their politics. So it's like you can essentially craft a podcast, which I did, listening to in one sitting. And this is the thing, I did a crash test. I did a crash test on voting. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, but it still I felt the most empowered I ever felt. So I did a crash test the day before. I went through the whole damn ballot, and like on Branch Politics, they have most of the people, but then you can go to, again, Ballotpedia and a lot of other places, and I'm sure Walter will give us other places too. And so I literally made a list. I wrote it out of all their stances. I checked out a lot of the audio interviews. And And so I had almost like, and I have a kind of photographic memory, but I had like looking at the ballot, I knew for the most part where each person stood on their particular area. And like I went into the voting booth in June with that knowledge, and I felt like what I actually did was impactful. So for me, and the reason why I think branch politics is amazing, and other services and other companies like it, we need more of it, is that if the more people feel really empowered and feel knowledgeable about what they're voting on, they're really afraid of that. That's the stuff that they're actually afraid of, because now they know you're not just randomly pointing or doing Christmas trees or just blindly putting your shit in. You actually know. So now they're going to be held more accountable, which actually causes that chain reaction of people doing real shit. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I want to start with that anecdote and introduce you and welcome you, Walter, to Digital Good Times, man. And tell us a little bit about your journey, man, and what brought you to create branch politics.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know we've been talking for a while, but I really do appreciate being on here and getting to talk with y'all. My story is actually super similar, but like before branch, so like without branch, right? My first time voting in Georgia was in 2018 for the governor election, which was, Stacey Abrams versus Brian Kemp. And like super hyped up, right? Everybody knew about that. And went to the polls for the first time. And when I went back in, Florida, when I voted, is where I'm from. It's like,
that's Tristan.
You're in and out in 5 minutes. But I went there and there was this huge line, which, it was the first time I had like heard about that being an issue here. And so kind of went through the line, eventually got to, the ballot machine, marked my choice for the governor's race, and then click next. And, like, somebody who I'd never heard of running for an office that I'd also never heard of. And then I clicked next through like 20 pages or so of that, amendments, it's like vote yes or no on amendment H, amendment J. It's like all these things that I didn't understand. And I think the only person's name I recognized throughout the whole thing was John Lewis. Which that like specifically stood out to me. And I forget, talking to people, it's like, right, either you Christmas tree, you leave it blank, you vote for the Republican, you vote for the Democrat, whoever it is, you vote for who has like the most fun name, or like, you're like,
he sounds like he's cool.
She's cool. Yeah, exactly. And so I remember leaving that day, and I didn't feel bad about it necessarily, but I also didn't feel good. And that's kind of what was the original moment that like really got me thinking about this. And so I wanted to, do something to help. So I started, talking to a lot more people, those friends of mine who are super, politically involved, politically active, who we like, all have those friends, and started asking a lot about like, okay, how can we get people more excited about voting? And pretty much all of them kind of gave the same response, which is like, when you look at the impact of voting, it's like pretty low. On like a scale of 1 to 10, we had them rate it, and everybody was giving like 2s and 3s. And then we like really like dug into that a little bit more, like, tell me more about that. And they were really just talking about the presidential election. They were like, but you look at the local level, it's like these state and local governmental offices matter so much more. Your vote goes so much further for them. And so like started like hearing more and more stories about it. And my background, I work in the tech industry. I was a software engineer and then a product manager for a financial tech startup before this. And so I started like looking at that and, felt very similarly like most people feel, which is like, I don't even know where to get started. I don't know what to do. And then I kind of had this moment of like, I think I can solve this. Like I can use, my sort of skills and like help make a difference about this. And that was kind of, the original moment where I decided to kind of jump in and, pursue like what most people know branches today. But yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the origin story.
Nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And tell us, like, so talk about the, the growth, because it's kind of been explosive. And that's what I mean. Like, everything kind of like sparked again. We were in crazy tumultuous times. We still are. But May and June, as we all know, was just going up. You know what I mean? Like protests were going in. And then, of course, we had a few quote unquote riots, but they were really just uprisings of the people like tired of bullshit. And then we had the election. So it's like you all came in really serendipitously. Like that's what I said. Like I even did an IG post about how much more informed and more empowered I felt. And I had even friends that were like, yo, like what site are you using? And again, I'll keep it real. Like they were like, yo, send me your notes that has all the people you checked out. So it's like, imagine when you get a clique of people, 20, 30 of your friends, and you all decide like, yo, we all on the same wavelength. Right. These are the people we're using. This is the amendment stuff. Like that's what they're not ready for that, man.
And it's topic oriented, which is what I love. Because even if you don't know who to vote for, you know what you believe in as a topic. You might not know the name of the candidate, but you know how you feel about criminal reform, or criminal justice and police reform. So you can, like, if that's your one issue topic, then you can go and see which candidate corresponds to how you feel inside. So
100%. So
I got a question real quick.
Yeah, jump in.
So right now it's just Atlanta, and with me being as excited as I am about Branch, I've been sending it to everybody, like my family in Miami.
You the one that put me on.
I send it to my friends in New York.
So are you guys planning on expanding to more states to have more people included in more cities, or what's the timeline looking like on that?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. So I mean right now we started in Atlanta. We actually started in. We did kind of like smaller tests that most people don't know about in a couple of other cities. We did one in Austin. We did some work in Philly before this election. And then kind of came here, decided to really focus on Atlanta, I'd say 2 months before the June election, not knowing that everything was about to pop up. I think it might have even been like before even COVID happened or started to like come to the US. So it was, I don't know, crazy time. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to really understand like how to, get our formula down right. Like there's still like a lot of stuff that I think we can improve on that, we're trying to do, and really like use Atlanta to like, do things right and learn how to do things right and like focus on really like keeping it local here and that sort of thing. Also like expanding. There's just like a lot of work that goes into what we do, and then like a lot of money that goes into that. So really like expanding is more first about like kind of setting down our roots and growing slowly. So, but yeah, I mean, the ultimate vision is like that this becomes the future of voting for everybody. At the very least, everybody in a major city that we can kind of like expand to. But right now we're in Atlanta, so Fulton County, DeKalb County, Cobb County, and Gwinnett County. We've got coverage for all those areas. And then we've got coverage for all of Georgia's statewide races, which there's something like, I don't know, 4 statewide races and 3 statewide amendments. So, anybody in Georgia can definitely get some benefit out of the site as is. What's that?
What about Cherokee County?
No, sorry. We'll get there.
I'm about to move.
They on their way, man. So I have a question about, since Digital Good Times, man, we definitely are about culture, but we're also about tech. Like, give us a little bit of insight, like, about the tech behind it, because that's, again, the thing that's the most interesting part. Like, and also the like you said, the elaborateness of what you all are doing. You're going and recording these like hours, I'm sure, of content and audio, essentially, from all of these representatives. Like, how did y'all go about doing that? Like, how do you kind of set up this pipeline for something so intricate?
Yeah, it's definitely been like a learn as we go sort of thing. So I would say a lot of the tech that powers it. I mean, we have essentially like a web app that branches like a reactive web app, so you can go in and everything's on the site, but it functions a lot like a mobile app would. It's very like responsive. A lot of the technology that we've been investing in is like process, improvement and streamlining and automation. So, one of the big kind of innovations we're able to make on that, at least recently, is one of the aspects to our site is we pull candidate finance data. And so within our site, you can go into a candidate and, right underneath their platform, you see, this candidate is like, pushing for prison reform or something like that. But then also, they're, top PAC donor is, a corporation that, manufactures prison uniforms or something like that. So that's all data that we kind of populate. We break down, what percentage of their donations come from PACs versus businesses versus individual donors. And that was something for the first election, we were actually like having to go into the Secretary of State website, like pull these PDFs, like tally out everything. And it was awful.
The scope is crazy. The scope
we've been
is
able
crazy.
to kind of like automate a lot of that. And
I have another question for you. What do you think was like your biggest issue or
hurdle?
Yeah, what was your biggest hurdle as far as any tech issues?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot. One of the biggest things is like people experience this now, and people have used Branch are very kind, very supportive. I think everybody has like a similar sort of feeling after they vote, like you were saying, which is like, feeling away, they're walking away from the polls, like feeling really good, feeling empowered. But, you got to keep in mind, like state and local government has been around for forever and people have never paid attention to it. And so when we first had this idea, we had an advisor who worked for a big presidential campaign in 2016. He's like a published author on like how to run campaigns. It's like a big name, and he was advising us. So I went to him with this idea. I was like, all right, I want to create something that makes it easy for people to understand like state and local government, how to vote, that sort of thing. And he was like, I think it's a stupid idea. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I have been in campaigns all my life. If you, build a business on state and local politics, like nobody's going to pay attention to you. And my theory behind that was the only reason people don't pay attention is because it's not easy. They don't understand it. Right. But this is, our advisor that's, giving us this advice. And so, really for us, the whole June election was just this like giant experiment of like, we're going to launch this thing. No idea if it'll like actually pan out. We did some smaller things that, kind of built up on it. But, I mean, we launched at the beginning of May, a little bit longer than a month before the election. And yeah, it was crazy just to watch every day, like our numbers about people coming into the site. And I mean, it was like 10 people. Next week, it'd be like 50. Next week, it was like 200. I remember week 3, we started hitting like 1,000. And then the week before the election, it was just like massive. Explosion. Right. And so, that's been one of the hardest things is just like kind of going all in.
Scale. It's the perfect timing.
But like, really just like investing in an idea that, a lot of people didn't think would actually work.
That you didn't like give up.
Yeah, because it's the perfect climate now.
Yeah.
Because
everybody's so
many
people. I mean, to think of the impact that you're making with you actually moving forward instead of saying, well, maybe since he said it didn't work, then or it's not going to work. Like, let's just edit and figure something else out.
Trust me, I thought about that for a long time.
Like pulling your hair out and like, oh, let me put it back in.
So with that, again, what would you say are any tips? So if you're, again, in the Atlanta, Georgia area, for the most part, asterisks, what would you say would be the best tips you can give someone who's using the Branch.vote web app as they go into the voting booth and as they go into their voting experience?
Yeah. The way that the site works, if you haven't used it, you go onto our website. It's www.branch.vote. You click, find my ballot, enter in your address, and we essentially pull together first all the districts that you live in, which most people think about, like, what district do you live in? It's like the question people ask. You live in like 12 different districts that are all like overlapping and mishmash.
Gerrymandering.
It's like your congressional districts have nothing to do with like your county and all that sort of stuff. So we break it down like, here are the districts that you live in, and then we walk you through, here's everything that's going to be on your ballot. The biggest thing that we try and do, we have a nonpartisan promise, so we try and as much as we can, keep things, unbiased, treat each candidate fairly, treat each candidate the same, regardless of their party, regardless of their background, their history, anything like that. And we really just try and focus on, issues are a big thing, finance data, their bios, that sort of thing. But really the biggest thing is just focusing on those sorts of issues. So we ask candidates about a whole bunch of different issues within our interviews. Like you said, normally people don't know, what they care about.
Right.
Or like, how state and local government works, but they know what issues they care about. They know that they care about the environment, or they know that they care about criminal justice reform, or they know they care about not having to pay more taxes or whatever it is.
Student loans.
So we try and, break it down to here's not just what the candidates stand for, but also here's what the actual office has the ability to affect. Right. So, I mean, number one tip is when you're going in, just look for an office that, affects an area that you care about. Maybe that's like public transit, check out an office that's relevant to that, and kind of start with that. And I think you'll start to feel that sort of like just empowered feeling as you work through and really feel good about that. Pay attention to the issues that you care about. Trying to think what other tips I have. We really try and just, make it easy within that.
No, you do. That's the thing. It's very intuitive too.
You can save everybody you love too. So if you're like, you know what, I do want to vote for him, you can save it, and at the end they have like this list of everybody you've chosen, so you don't have to go back like, well, who did I want for this position? Right. It's all right there.
I'm telling you, man. I'm seeing like the future I see. So like the reason why I think this is so incredible, like again, as I envision it, as you all are starting to execute and iterate, is like imagine in the next few years' time that all you have to do is you put in like your attributes, and you may not even need to, because it may just strip it from social media. So it might just be like, yo, we already kind of know how you get down. Right. So like opt in. Facebook might do something like that. It might be like, all right, we want to try to help people because we know that we're the evil empire. Like, let's try to help somewhat. You know what I mean? They're trying to do some stuff like they're not allowing Holocaust denial now. Like they understand, like they got the target on them. It's like, yo, put up or shut up.
You
at
have
this
responsibility.
Point. Yeah, you have put up or shut up. So they could integrate something like these tools, like with branch politics, where it could be tap in. All right, I already know who you are. So these people are going to be more aligned with you. Would you like to listen to an audio podcast or a video of where their stance is applied to your particular area? And then boom, you know what I mean? Like media for politics in an organic but in a nonpartisan, like you said, way. Yeah, that shit could be game changing.
You might have like people knocking at your door soon, looking for a buyout.
Yeah, I mean for real, like for acquisition, for real. Y'all probably already getting some of that.
I could see that.
So.
But yeah, I mean, speaking on that, I mean, that is one piece of advice that I would have for people is like, typically, especially in crowded races, like this year we have a race for the U.S. Senate to fill Johnny Isaacson seat. There's 21 candidates running, like it's crazy. Don't just pay attention to the candidates that you've heard about. Like that's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have.
That's a great point.
I think from me talking with some of the candidates that I haven't heard of, candidates who aren't like considered the front runners, I've been like very surprised by a lot of them, and really have liked a lot of the stuff that they are saying, and I ended up voting for some of them. So, I would say that's one of the biggest pieces, like really, take advantage of the sort of resource, even if it's just like looking at maybe that one key issue or their top priority or something like that. Because I think, just like you're saying, in the future, if you create like a platform that is like, even-handed and like gives everybody the same sort of, cloud and your ability to know them, I feel like that in and of itself can just like, totally revolutionize, the way that the government works, and, make representatives, whether it's Republican or Democratic, just a lot more responsive to like, here is what your voters want, here is what your district wants. You have to like, be responsive to those sorts of needs.
Yeah, I think we're getting past the days where we wanted to be sold. We want to just be informed and then 100%. Be able to make our own decision.
100%. You know what I mean? And I say this.
I told you I ain't got time for that, but nigga, today I got time, girl.
We got time. We got time to go out here and invest. You put it just a couple hours. That's what we're saying. It's not like you got to take a couple of days. I took maybe 4 hours and did that crash course, and it was transformational. And I'm not saying you should do crash, but like if that's all the time you got, it is transformational, man.
And then, we got the time
right before you go.
Right.
If you look at your screen time on your phone, you can see that you've been on
election day. Just save it for that 4 hours that you'll be in line.
Yeah, right. While you're in line.
Yeah, do it while you're in line. Yeah, 100%.
But I would say more so, try to do it now so that you're fully educated and you're not like trying to pull your phone out and they're like, oh,
who is that?
Doesn't count.
Who is that? I can't hear your phone out. Yeah, because you can't take your phone out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real deal. Yeah. So,
I wanted to say, there is a fraud report line in case you see something crazy. Because I
Okay.
think it's really important for us to. I mean,
If you see something, say something.
I ain't about that life,
Right.
but when it comes to like voting, I think that that's really important for us to not allow them to suppress our voices by doing foolishness. So if you see something, there's a 1-800 number. It's 1-866-552-0004.
Nice.
If you see something, say something, and then run up on it. No,
Also-
maybe don't do that.
The AUC is giving out Lyft codes. I believe it's Lyft
Yeah,
for
I saw
rides
Really?
that,
to
yeah.
vote. Yeah, so if you go to like Spelman, Morehouse, Clark,
That's amazing.
then you'll get a text soon saying, "Hey, this is your code
Yeah.
for a vote."
There's a couple of
Yeah.
like churches and stuff too that stepped up and have been like, I got text messages from our church like, y'all want to vote? Like,
Right.
we'll pick you up.
Yeah.
There's a
Like, we good.
lot of resources. That's actually a great time to plug the digipack. This digipack is going to be actually generally available to plug love for my nationwide posse. But for real, this digipack is going to be open to the public, and it's going to have all the resources. Of course, it's going to be local to us, but we got it filled with resources that are available for the entire country, because we know we got some diverse listeners. We got people in France listening to us. Let me also say that, because we got we got mad analytics now. You know what I'm saying? So we got like a French audience vibing with it. So shout out to y'all.
Nice.
Shout out to all of our across the country, across the space, rocking with us in Digital Good Times. And that's going to bring us to our final segment, which is the picks of the week. And it goes a little something like this. Boom, boom. All right, so I'm gonna take it home, but I do want to start off with, this isn't my official plug, but I do want to say for Digital Good Times plug, I wanted to just be able to use this as a time to create a commercial right here on the spot, and that is, if you are a podcaster, right? Maybe you're a podcaster listening to us, and you got really dope content, and you want to collab with us. Guess what? The best way you can do it is what we call pod picks, and that's when we'll pick a podcast that we rock with, and we're gonna promote and elevate you to our 1,000 plus, 5,000 plus reach. We got eyes, we got listeners, we got a community, and we'll elevate you. And all you got to do is mention us in your podcast episode and tell us what was your favorite episode of Digital Good Times. That's pretty straightforward, and that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And that's how we
all.
build community. We both share our space and our platform.
One hand
Feels pretty
washes
easy.
the other while the two wash the face.
And there it is. Hey, that's it, and that's all. You know what I mean? That's it, and that's all. That's great. So
I got bars.
What? Who wants to start with their official
I'll start.
plug picks of the week?
Ladies
first.
Go ahead.
I watched Annabellum, and I thought it was so crazy. Like, I don't know. Y'all know I'm kind of.
This is Janelle's movie, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Janelle's
I haven't seen it.
movie.
I heard good things.
It
haven't
was
seen it.
good.
Heard good things.
I didn't like the end so much because it kind of left it
Don't
open
tell
ending.
us anything.
Open ended,
Yeah.
shall I say? But I feel like that's really happening right now.
Or it's possible.
It's absolutely possible.
Okay, well.
So you guys
that's all
have
y'all
to
gonna
see
say,
it in
yeah.
order for you to actually understand. So go,
Yeah, I saw it.
go catch that. And then I liked Reasons Project.
Reason's new album, TD.
Yeah.
TD's very.
So, yeah,
it's got some good records.
Yeah, that's been
I
the
like
wave
Reason.
for me.
Dope.
All right, so we got Reason and Annabellum.
Yeah.
Annabellum. That's
Oh
on
my God! Wait, hold on.
Prime, right?
But she did her thing.
Oh, Janelle?
Yeah, shout out to
Oh, you know,
Janelle.
she did a great job in the movie.
Yeah, she's
I was
really
just
coming through
like,
as an actress.
Okay,
She's
this
coming
is
through.
really your calling. Music is amazing, but this right
Dang.
I really
now?
think it's that theater background, right?
Yeah.
That
Right.
theater where,
Yeah.
you do both. And
I
Love
feel like
you,
artists
Janelle.
can do anything. Like y'all are like special type of people.
We love you, Janelle. Can you come on the show,
Like-
please? Because we know you. I think it's time.
yeah, we need to do
Yeah,
that.
it's time. It's
I
time.
mean, she played a mom. Like
She's killing it.
she was bomb.
She's killing it. Yeah,
She was bomb.
she's killing it.
All right, so I
Next
have
step.
been
What
introduced to
Yeah.
the wonderful world of Among Us. I am an addict
You are,
now.
man.
Oh
You're
my
such
God! I
an
saw my
addict.
Clubhouse talking
You're
about
such
why
an
ain't nobody
addict.
playing Among Us. I'm like, what's that?
I want to jump in. I'll
you
jump
tell
in.
me
Yeah, break
what
it in. What is
Among
it?
Us
What is
is?
Among Us to the consumer?
Dang, what?
No, I'm just.
Well, Gen Zers love it, by
Gen
the way.
Z's are going in on it.
man.
But yeah, Among Us is this game you can download from the App Store where essentially you're in like these, imagine like being on like a ship or something, and you are playing online with up to 10 people, and 2 of those people are what are called imposters, which their job is to kill everybody and not get caught.
Yep.
And,
Murder.
Is that like
and-
that game they used to have where it's like you have to
Yeah,
find out who's
Mafia.
Like, guess who?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
get-
Clue or
no,
whatever.
it was like one where like one person in the room was
Mafia.
like murderer.
Mafia.
Mafia. You talking like the
It's like that, yeah.
mobile app? Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. So yeah, it's
Cool,
fun.
cool.
So
it's fun. It is fun.
Nice. Okay.
And then of course, we're all on Clubhouse now. I think maybe it was last episode where we were talking about
that's pretty cool,
getting
man.
on Clubhouse. We're all on Clubhouse, and there's a bunch of people on Clubhouse who like to play Among Us.
Clubhouse is lit.
I love just standing in rooms and listening. Like I do that in real events. Just sit in the corner. So this is
sit
perfect.
in the corner and just listen.
Sit in a room and just listen to people talk.
My boyfriend be like, "What do you have on? Like, why do you keep on playing this?" I'll be in the bathroom like with it. Sitting there,
There's
like
just people talking like
walking around the house.
I'm like in the shower listening. I'm like in the car listening. He's like, "What are you listening to? Why do you listen to this all the time? You're addicted." I'm like, "Yeah, better that than Instagram." He's like, .Oh, okay."
If y'all interested, shout out to, again, this is Tribe Specific. Hit us up, DM us. Again, the website, digigoodtimes.com. That's where you can sign up for our mailing list.
We need to start a room on voter suppression tonight. We should do one. That'd be dope.
I'll be down for that. We do have a room coming in Clubhouse too. We got a room, actual club that we're building. But if you're interested, you want to get an invite, just reach out to us. We'll try to accommodate. Hopefully we don't get like a.
And if you want to play Among Us, just DM me. Jack Press.
Are you a good imposter?
More importantly,
I'm all pretty decent, man.
I want to learn how to play. So y'all, just like y'all taught me this whole Clubhouse situation, I'm ready for Among Us. Walter, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
down. Let's do it. I'm down. DigiTribe Among Us coming soon. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay
tuned. So I got a couple things. So speaking of games, I started playing this game called One Night Ultimate Werewolf. And it's like a Clue. It's like a card game. You sit around the table with your friends. You got to figure out who is the werewolf, and it just You said,
cool.
You played it before?
I love it. It's like Among Us, but like
in real life.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have to wear like a mask or is it it's just all imagination?
Like whenever you're found
you just
out,
have to use your imagination.
Yeah. And then you eat everybody at the table.
But yeah, we were like hours and hours. Just like I gotta play again. So that's one pick. Jessie Reyes' new project.
Jessie Reyes.
Yeah,
she's
amazing.
She's dope. She's good.
I mean, her vocals, her flow,
She's been
the music is just the whole album. I listened to it straight through. I don't even know. I like I Do. Before Love Came to Kill Us.
I listened to the whole album. I know what it's called.
You know it's good
I know
when
the
you can listen to the whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
And I've been watching Third Day.
What's that?
Oh, so Third Day is
Y'all like, right.
Yeah, put us on.
Listen,
So-
y'all Tristan always got the juice, the sauce, and all of that.
So Third Day is it's about this island called O'Shea, and you have to go across a waterway to get to it. So on high tide you can't get there.
Wow.
But basically it was broken into 3 parts. The first 3 parts starred Jula. The second part, it was 3 episodes of that. The second part was a 24-hour interactive live production.
What?
So basically, they had the camera following. You can go to Facebook, HBO Now, and you can watch it. But it just followed the events of the ceremony that happens on the island.
What?
And you could just, it's nonstop. Yeah. And then the third part starts Naomi Watts. Is that her name?
The actress.
Yeah, the actress, the black one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Watts.
Yes, Naomi Watts. Yeah. She's starring in the last 3 episodes.
Where is it on?
It's on
HBO.
HBO's killing
I was
everybody.
just about to say, HBO was like COVID. We got you covered. Like,
They killing
After
everybody.
we finish, I got a question about
like
HBO.
everything between
Let's
what
get
was it? I'm sorry. Outsiders.
Oh, yeah,
and
Outsiders.
It was Westworld, and then
Like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Lovecraft.
Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
Random Acts of Flyness.
I feel like they
got
can do
Blacklist.
no wrong right now. If they keep this wave going,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Body in it.
Straight up.
What you got, Jack? What you
Sorry,
I was gonna say
Indiana
Walter.
Jack.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What
Oh.
Walter's picks was.
Yeah, what's your picks, Walter?
I'll be honest with y'all. I'm such a, this is like the part that I dreaded because I'm like, I rarely consume media, but this past weekend I spent a lot of time reading this book called Red Rising. It's like a sci-fi set, probably like 1,000 years in the future or something like that.
Nice.
And it's about essentially like the future society that's like colonized Mars, a bunch of other planets, but they have kind of like a hierarchy, and it's all about how people discover that and kind of like start this rebellion sort of thing.
Nice.
It's really good. I'm just like flipping through the pages.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Red Rising.
Yeah,
Red Rising.
and Have y'all seen Tenet yet?
Oh yeah,
We talked about it.
So is it good? Because I've heard it was really good.
It's
yeah.
great.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's fire. It's
Yeah,
that's my other
amazing.
one.
The storytelling
So good.
is agreed.
All right,
I
so
like it.
Tenet, and then Red Rising,
Nice.
And then,
got
of
some
course,
really dope picks.
Branch.vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's obvious.
It goes without saying.
It's so crazy. Like your platform is so dope. And then I went to was it Ballotpedia?
Mm-hmm.
And it was missing so much.
Yeah.
Like so much.
That's why like we
They
need
need-
so many more in
yeah.
the space to fill the gaps that one platform can't. Because again, like he said, it's such a massive undertaking. I don't even
And
know.
for it to only be since May, like, dude, you guys are like
you guys are
moving.
very well put together. I thought you had been out for a while.
Yeah, this is well thought out. Good job. Congratulations.
I think that's why when I first posted about it and you guys responded, I was like, oh whoa, they actually
Right.
Like,
Like,
actually,
they're on
I
it.
respond.
like, wait a second.
They're on it, man. They're engaged.
No, I appreciate the love.
Super engaged. All right, I'm taking it home with the final plug of the week. Again, I want to shout out to She and our wonderful community of people, the whole Digi tribe that's holding us down and continue to grow with us. We appreciate it, and we're glad that you're with us, and we're going to continue to grow. To take us home, I actually have a event coming up. It's called Dance Your Heart Out, and it's a fundraiser to fight voter suppression.
Nice.
And it's like 1 billion people on the bill. Shout out to the homie Black Cubes. We got Taylor. We had Taylor Alexander on the show.
Cool.
She's
Nice.
rocking. I got a set, and it's a lot of people. And what's dope about it is it's a combination of music and visual artists. So the way they did it is the artists we did our set, we did our performance, whatever. Some artists have their own visuals, but then we're pairing with a visual artist we've never met before. We chopped it up, and they're going to do a live visual interpretation of our music on top of the set.
Organic,
It's going to be
dope.
fire. It's going to be super fire. Shout out to VLSC crew. VLSC Records is where it's going to be streaming live on Twitch, and then we'll have it on our channel and so on and so forth. So, check out my IG. And I will be sharing that soon. It's going to be super fire, but it's also a fundraiser to fight voter suppression. So the proceeds are going to a voter suppression support organization or anti-voter suppression group organization. And so it's going to be fire, man. Y'all
Nice.
pull up. That's
Super
October
duper dope.
17th.
Okay.
Shout out to VSLC Records. And yeah, that's how we
when you
giving it
should
up.
Just drop that bread.
Nice.
That's how we giving it up.
Nice.
We dropped this one time, Yeah, I mean, we came in here and we did it. You know what I'm saying? We did it. This is official truth voting empowerment episode. So we got a lot of resources that are going to be again in the Digipack on where you can go vote. There's actually something really cool that Georgia, I believe, what was it? Hold on. It was on Hype. Shout out to Hype. Hypopotamus. It's MailChimp. Shout out to MailChimp. They created this really cool kind of web wiki that will tell you where you can go early vote. And it's super convenient. It tells you the times and things like that. So we have all those resources in the Digipack as well, which will be available to you.
Chill.
You know what I mean? So anybody got anything else? Watch, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
Jack had a question.
Or did you have?
Oh yeah, the thing I was gonna say was back just to the HBO thing. I think I may have the answer, but who do you think is making more progressive content, HBO or Netflix?
Oh,
Wow.
because
You
Netflix
trying to leave us on a
been-
cliffhanger, man?
Yeah, Netflix has been doing their thing lately.
Yeah.
But also,
That's a
I
hard
feel
one.
like they're trying to come back too from this whole cuties situation.
That stuff is weird. That whole thing is weird. I can't even.
Wow, I don't know. That's a hard
I
one.
don't know. That's a hard
That's a
one.
good
That's a
question.
really
though.
hard
Maybe
one,
for
man.
next episode.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
it.
Because I have been watching Evil on Netflix with Luke Cage.
Oh,
The dude who played Luke Cage is in a new show on Netflix.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
Called
dope.
Evil, yeah. So they're
Yeah.
putting some diverse talent in front of the cameras.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to
And
check
not
out
as
everybody's
just-
picks.
Yeah, we need that. We need this energy, y'all. I hope you vibe with us, enjoyed where we're going. More coming soon. Again, to get tuned, like how Drake says it, tune, big tune.
Big tune.
Big tune. To get in tune with us, you can check us out again via the website, digigoodtimes.com.
Nice.
You can also sign up to our mailing list. You can check out our Facebook group where we go in hard and we post content and resources every single day. You can share with us in that community as well. We out here, man. Digital Good Times, Bishop on the chest. We redirecting that energy. We redirecting that energy. If you don't know about Bishop, you should. We redirecting that energy and putting it into the atmosphere to progress and make change. So that's all I got to say. What y'all got?
This was a lit
Walter,
episode.
Walter, you got anything?
else?
Yeah, Walter, big baby was good.
Man.
I appreciate y'all having me on. This is awesome, great discussion, and just encourage people to vote early, vote local, and vote.
Turn up in the voting.
Yes.
Turn up.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah.
We appreciate you and
Branch.vote,
y'all.
Definitely.
Digital Good Times. You already know we out here. Deuces. Appreciate you.